So this video is about what is cloud computing and what is AWS. To understand what cloud computing is, we need to go and see some history. So let's go to it. In the past, all the companies were owning their data centers. Companies have their computing power in their basements, and they own the computer-powered machines. So if they need to scale their systems, they need to buy more computers or bigger ones. With time, virtualization came in place, and companies start to use it to share the computing resources between different products, and later between different companies. Sometime later, specific companies started selling hosting services for these companies that they were producing products. They were offering computing power and storage capability. They were offering that these resources were shared between different companies, and those companies were not the owners of these resources. So if the company needed more computing power, they just need to ask for more computing from their provider, and it will just scale up. This was the birth of the cloud providers. Those companies that they were providing computing power and storage solutions were the first public cloud. Nowadays, cloud providers not only provide basic infrastructure, but all kinds of services and software on top of that infrastructure. So what is cloud computing? It's the use of computing resources, hardware and software that are delivered as a service over the internet or a network. You don't need to have it in your own premises. What are the characteristics of a cloud provider? It's reliable. You don't need to maintain the infrastructure. It's cost effective. You pay for as much as you use. It's scalable. You can scale it up and down, and it takes advantage of the economics of scale. Cloud providers provide lots of different services, not only hardware, services that can be integrated into your applications or can be used as end applications. AWS, Amazon Web Services, is a cloud provider. AWS provides a massive global infrastructure that allows companies to innovate, experiment and iterate. Some of the characteristics of AWS are: it's on demand, you use it when you need it. It's uniform. Because of the economic of scales of AWS, customers can leverage the cost effectiveness, scalability and flexibility of running AWS infrastructure. You pay as you go, no pay in advance, there is no contract. It's available, AWS is available by the console, the SDK, command line and API. Let's talk about AWS services in a little bit more detail. AWS provides infrastructure. We are going to talk a little bit more about this in a moment, but these are the regions, availability zones and edge locations. Also, it provides what it's called foundation services, that is computing like EC2s and Lambdas. EC2s are the virtual machines from AWS and Lambdas are the functions as service. It provides some networking capabilities like VPCs, that is a private network that you can build inside AWS, and CloudFront, that is the content delivery network from AWS. It provides a storage service like S3, that is a place where you can store files, and they have others different as well. And also admin capabilities and security like your IAM, that is where you create your users, your security roles and your policies, and CloudWatch, that is a place that it has the unified way that you can check logs and monitor different services from your AWS. These are the basic services that you can use directly or that the platform will be using. And then on top of that, we have the platform services. The platform services are managed services by AWS that you can use in your application directly or as a standalone service. For example, we have DynamoDB, that is the NoSQL database from AWS. Then we have Kinesis, that is stream service for stream events. Cognito, that is the authentication and authorization managed service from AWS. CloudFormation, that is the service that you can use to build and manage your infrastructure as code. API Gateway, that is a service you can use to manage your REST endpoints. And there is so many of these. There is I can fill many pages of platform services, and I think that's where AWS is growing and growing and growing nowadays. These are just some examples. Let's go back to the infrastructure and talk a little bit about the global infrastructure of AWS. That is, I think, one very important characteristic. AWS has infrastructure all around the world. There are 18 data centers globally nowadays. These are called regions. By being globally distributed, it's possible to achieve lower latency and higher throughput. Also, AWS has a lot of CDNs, content distribution networks. These help to reduce the cost of transfer data, latency and performance to end users. So let's go back to what is a region. A region is where the data center is. Each region has at least 2 data centers. In AWS terms, they are called availability zones. This is done to provide redundancy in case of something happens. So if there is one, I don't know, explosion or something goes like out of electricity or flood or something happens, that's why you need 2 or more. These availability zones are connected with high-speed internet, but they are isolated from each other. So they use different network companies and different parts of the city. From outside, this availability zone seems like one data center. So in few cases, you will know in which availability zone your service is being hosted. AWS services run in these regions. Most of the AWS services are region specific. So when you create a new service, it's good to pick a region that is close to your customers. So let's put everything into an example app. Imagine you're building your own Twitter-like service. The first thing you want to do is to pick a region from all the available regions. You choose Ireland as most of your customers will be in Europe. Then you create the web page and place all the statics files in S3 buckets that we use cross-formed as the content distribution network, so the files will reach your customers faster. For managing your backend, you choose API Gateway for your endpoints and AWS Lambda for your computing. You also need a database to keep track of users, tweets, and other information of your application, so for that you use DynamoDB. You say users? You need some way to authenticate your users to your system, so for that you use Cognito. Cognito will give you users temporary IAM permissions into your AWS account to perform different actions. All infrastructure is created as code and is built and deployed using CloudFormation. And you can check the logs of your application with CloudWatch. This is a serverless application. There are no servers and the system scales up as you need, and you also pay as you go. To get started with serverless applications, you should go and watch the next video on this series. I'll leave you the link on the description box and in the card.